Let me tell you about the Sony WH-1000XM4 Bluetooth Headphones. Now, for a pair of $500 Australian Bluetooth headphones, you would expect a premium and prestige pair of Bluetooth headphones to have exceptional sound quality and noise cancelling for its price. And you would be correct. The specifications illustrate practically peak sound quality with phenomenal noise cancelling with so much integrated into them. But how exactly does it sound good? What do some of the specification terms actually mean? And is it really worth that $500 Australian price tag? Well, I will do my best to explain them easily and efficiently. If you plan on staying, then get your notebooks out. So let's start with the packaging content. Coming out of the box, you get a music service trial called 360 Reality Audio. However, for your discretion, it is only available on 3 apps that have this feature by the paid subscription. So if this gimmick is something you want to experience, then it is included. The user manual and guide, a very hard and sturdy carrying case with room for perhaps cables on the back, inside of the case, you get the illustrious XM4s that I'll touch up upon in a little bit, a detachable 1.2 meter L-shaped 3.5 millimeter audio cable to enable a wide connection to your PC or phone, a travel adapter for those plane rides you'll eventually have, and finally a USB Type-A to C cable to charge these up. And since these are short, you'll either have to be real up close to that USB port or simply buy a separate one. Let's begin with the exterior of the headphones and work our way towards the interior. I got mine in black, but it is also available in silver. The build quality is quite smooth with a smooth matte finish which looks quite prestigious. However, as you can see, scratch marks will stand out quite a bit alongside fingerprint marks and grease. So if it happens, it would be best to wipe them off on occasion. The headband and the pre-installed ear cups are made out of leather with a smooth soft finish. And a thing to note about the ear cups as shown in the diagram is that they are an over-the-ear design and have an evenly distributed coating of urethane or thermoplastic polyurethane with properties to resist oils and grease, high elasticity, high shear strength, high abrasion resistance, and more to say if I was into chemistry. So good choice by Sony. Keep in mind that the ear pads are actually removable if they get damaged. However, it can be a little tricky if you don't know how to do it. So I'll leave a link to a guide that goes through this exact process for anyone that is looking. Located on the left ear cup, we have one of the 2 microphones used for picking up ambient noises, and I should clarify that these headphones in fact have 5 microphones in total, with one specifically used only for picking up your voice, which you will hear later in the sound test. The NFC or Near Field Communication chip is also located here to simply connect your NFC compatible phone to these, by simply pressing against it. A custom button that can function differently through their software Sony Headphones Connect. By default, it is set to ambient sound control to either temporarily disable noise cancelling or commence the noise cancelling optimizer, but it can also activate Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa if you have any of them installed on your phone. Further down is the power button that, alongside the custom button, can also be used to activate a full reset by simply holding them both down for approximately 7 seconds and seeing the indicator flash blue 4 times. Further down is the headphone jack that enables these headphones to be used in a wired connection. And finally, inside the ear cup is the proximity sensor that I will explain later. On the right ear cup, we have the second microphone that picks up ambient noises, the Type-C port to charge it, which I also took the liberty of putting in a silicone cover to protect it from water particles and dust, and finally the control panel that has very intuitive controls, I must say. Just swipe up to increase volume, down to decrease it, back for previous track, forward for next track, double tap to play, pause, and accept calls, and a long press to toggle the voice assistant function. In fact, these control instructions are on a little cardboard cutout within the travel case to easily remind you if you ever forget like me. At the same time, it also has what Sony calls quick attention, where you simply place your hand entirely over the right ear cup to temporarily let ambient noise in and have a quick chat or listen out for something, which is really useful and convenient. The headphones themselves are a dynamic, circular, closed-back design, and allow me to explain fundamentally what each of these mean for people who have no idea. Within every single pair of headphones and headsets, there exists something called a transducer, and the job of the transducer is to convert electrical signals from whatever the audio source is into sound waves that our ears can understand. With the Sony XM4s, the transducer or driver type is dynamic, or moving coil as some people call it. And these are actually the most common drivers on arguably most headphones and headsets in store right now, and maybe even on the ones that you're using right now because they are the cheapest to produce. I'll leave a link in the description for those who want to know exactly how it works. But simply put, they create movement with the principles and physics of electromagnetism and magnetism that in turn lead to the creation of sound. The mechanism is actually very simple and effective, especially at producing bass. And unlike, say, a bulky XLR headphone like the Biodynamic DT1990s, these don't require a lot of power to reach a higher volume. However, having said that, dynamic headphones tend to have a problem called nonlinear distortion, essentially when the audio quality becomes distorted at higher volume levels. Now, in my time with these so far, I've yet to experience this, or if ever, so far so good, I guess. Circular mode and closed-back design kind of go hand in hand. Circular mode basically describes headphones as an over-the-ear design that completely encloses the ear, putting the speakers right up to the ear, allowing for great sound quality, passive noise cancelling, and comfortability. And the closed-back design being exactly this is also essentially describing how, since there is no vents or perforations on the back of the ear cups for sound to escape, it is enclosed within the inner ear cups, isolating yourself from the ambient noises, allowing you to only hear what comes out of the speaker and very little from what is around you. Now, do note that because they are a closed-back design, your ears may start to feel hot after mere hours because the sound is remaining within the ear cups, so occasionally you'll find yourself taking them off and cooling down. Now, as a quick little segment, I would like to do a quick sound test for you, so you can have a good idea how the microphone sounds and judge whether each syllable sounds as it should and if it has good clarity to it.
A yacht slid across the point into the bay. The two met while playing on the sand. The ink stain dried on the finished page. The walled town was seized without a fight. The lease ran out in 16 weeks. A tame squirrel makes a nice pet. The horn of the car woke the sleeping cop. The heart beat strongly and with firm strokes. The pearl was worn in a thin silver ring. The fruit peel was cut in thin slices.
To top off the exterior look of these headphones, I'm going to point out some of the important findings I found within the reference guide that I know nobody reads, that came as a surprise to me and I didn't see many other reviewers touch up upon. So I want to inform you and let you know what you're getting into if these are headphones you might consider buying. 1. Do not leave these headphones in very humid or in high temperature locations, as it may shorten the lifespan of its internal batteries and cells. 2. It is not waterproof. Water, rain, and sweat will damage it if it enters the device. 3. When wearing the headphones, it may produce a sound click. This is not a malfunction, it is the sensor inside the ear cup. 4. When active noise cancelling is on, the music playback battery life is 30 hours via Bluetooth and 22 hours via wired. Communication time can last up to 24 hours. 5. Supposed 5 hours of music playback is possible on a 10-minute charge. 6. It takes approximately 3 hours till maximum charge is reached. 7. Battery duration on standby with noise cancelling off is approximately 200 hours. 8. Impedance increases to 40 ohms when plugged in via audio cable with active noise cancelling on. When off, it reduces to 16 ohms. 9. The 4 Hz to 40,000 Hz range it claims to be able to reach is only possible when connected via the audio cable and turned on, but be warned that when you do it, it will consume the internal battery. 10. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz use the same frequencies, so if near a Wi-Fi device, you might experience some dropouts in sound or latency. 11. After long non-usage, make sure to discharge the battery to preserve charging functionality. 12. The microphone will not work through a wired connection and only through Bluetooth. And 13. It is compatible with Google's helpful Fast Pair feature through their Find My Device app to securely locate your pair by emitting a sound or looking up its last known location. Now let's look at the interior, or the internal components that make these headphones sound as they are. The drivers are a dome-type 40mm unit, and typically, the size is usually an indicator of how big the sound can be. So 50mm and 100mm drivers would theoretically sound better, right? Well, not exactly. The size of the drivers doesn't necessarily correlate to better sound quality. Instead, it is the various technological components that comprise the driver that make the difference. In the case for these pair of dynamic Sony XM4s, their drivers comprise of 3 components: a magnet, a voice coil, and a diaphragm attached to the voice coil. The magnet on these are neodymium, which are lighter and more powerful than ferrite magnets that in turn are excellent at producing more bass and clear treble. The voice coil on these are copper-clad aluminium wire, or CCAW, and just like on their other various headphones, they have low mass and high heat conduction. And finally, the diaphragm that states is made of aluminum-coated LCP, or liquid crystal polymer, and this is what enables these headphones to reach a full range of frequencies from as little as 4 Hz up to 40,000 Hz. And according to a forum post that I found, it claims that these diaphragms are capable of reaching up to 80,000 Hz, which is crazily high. Now, besides the phenomenal active noise cancelling and features these headphones have, this is probably one of the main reasons why it is priced so high. But funny enough, did you know that the average person can only hear frequencies between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz? Yeah, there's a reason why most gaming headsets, headphones, and even microphones are set at those frequency response levels, because anything outside of those levels becomes almost inaudible to our ears. It doesn't help that as we grow older, our hearing slowly degrades, mostly impacts treble sounds, but still. So in a way, It is kind of questionable as to why Sony would make headphones that can output these high and low levels, even though the average person wouldn't be able to hear them. Maybe to showcase the advancements of sound technology? I don't know. Speaking of frequency response levels, their product page has them at 4Hz to 40,000 Hz. And to quickly explain what they mean, low frequency refers to the bass sounds in music or sound. The lower it is, the deeper the bass. If you've ever been close to a speaker and had, say, electronic disco music playing at high volume when the beat drops, you would probably be able to feel vibrations in your body. Or a more simpler way to think of bass is the deep, manly voice of typical man. These are a few examples of bass. And high frequencies refer to the highest pitching sounds in music or sound. The higher the number, the more intense the treble is. Examples of these would be a little girl's vocals, guitar riffs, and choruses. Usually these are the first things you hear most in music. Ignoring the ludicrousy of these levels, as stated before, the 4Hz to 40,000 Hz levels are only possible when it is turned on and through a wired connection. Otherwise, via Bluetooth with SBC and AAC codec, it is 20Hz to 20,000 Hz with 44,100 kHz sample rate, and via Bluetooth with the LDAC codec, it is 20Hz to 40,000 Hz with 96,000 kHz sample rate at up to 990 kilobytes per second. Additionally, the signal-to-noise ratio with these, when connected via cable, differ whether they are on or not. When on, it is 105 decibels per milliwatt, and when off, it is at 101 decibels per milliwatt. I'll also leave a link to a graph that outlines the averaged and compensated frequency response levels. I'll bring it back a little and explain what I mean by SBC, AAC, and LDAC codecs, and begin explaining the Bluetooth side to these headphones. Basically, these are all examples of audio codecs, and what an audio codec is that they allow data to stream and transfer to compatible Bluetooth audio output devices like headphones and loudspeakers. SBC, or Low Complexity Subband Codec, is a codec designed to obtain fairly good audio quality at medium bit rates, with Bluetooth bandwidth limitations and processing power in mind. AAC, or Advanced Audio Coding, is designed to be the successor to the infamous MP3 format, with higher sound quality at the same bitrate, and in fact is the standardized audio codec for iPhones, iPods, iTunes, and even for the Nintendo 3DS. And lastly, LDAC is Sony's personally designed audio codec, which, as Sony themselves state, allows streaming high-resolution audio over Bluetooth at 990 kilobytes per second at 32 bit rate with 96,000 kHz sampling, depending on strength of connection, close to that of a wired connection. Finally, on the Bluetooth side, there are the different Bluetooth profiles it is compatible with, being A2DP, AVLCP, HFP, and HSP. And I know these sound like gibberish, but essentially these profiles help a device properly utilize Bluetooth. See, how a device uses Bluetooth depends on the individual profile capabilities. The profiles provide a finite level that manufacturers and companies follow in order for devices to use Bluetooth as expected. To summarize all of them, A2DP is what allows these to receive data from one device or another over the Bluetooth connection. AVLCP allows it to control TVs and speakers, for example, with the control panel on the right ear cup. HFP is what allows the hands-free communication features like using Google Assistant and Alexa, and HSP is what makes these compatible with most modern mobile phones and even gaming consoles. See, not too hard to grasp. A quick little note here is it also supports content protection under SCMST, basically a digital rights management that protects the contents transmitted over Bluetooth. So no worries there. On to the next big feature of these headphones, the noise cancelling. It has the same processor from the pre-existing XM3s called the HD Noise Cancelling Processor QN1 with an integrated analog amplifier. This captures ambient noises from the acoustic environment from the two microphones in real time and applies noise cancelling on them with the new algorithm, alongside the new Bluetooth Audio SoC or System on Chip. It senses and adjusts music and noise signals between the actual driver and your ears at over 700 times per second. It has two types of noise cancelling technologies which can both be adjusted software side. Personal Noise Cancelling Optimizer and Atmospheric Pressure Optimizer, designed for air travel specifically. Atmospheric Pressure Optimizer will be useful for delivering optimal sound quality even at high altitudes, and Personal Noise Cancelling, which measures your wearing conditions like your head size, glasses, and hair to optimize the noise cancelling process. Now, I should point out that these have exceptional noise cancelling compared to earphones, so as a precaution, take care when you're walking with these on, as you may not hear anything unless it's really up close, like cars or people. Let's wrap things up with the software. There are two available for Android and Apple. Sony Headphones Connect, where you can set custom equalizations, download firmware updates, and customize the active noise cancelling sensitivity to name a few, and Sony Music Center, a music playing app that allows you to play back high-resolution tracks that are only compatible with this and other selective Sony products. Personally, as simple and great it sounds to play back high-res tracks, Said multi-room, surround, stereo wirelessly with multiple speakers and chains equalizers. I don't personally find it to be as free and versatile like the current one I'm using called Music Player MP3 Player by Apps 10X, that has more to offer than Sony's one. It just comes off as a bit too empty and simple, and I'll leave it at that. Although, with Sony Headphones Connect, that one I'd recommend to download, especially for adjustability and firmware updates. Now, within the software there is a lot to tweak and switch on and off, so allow me to highlight them. Under the status section, you'll find an option called Adaptive Sound Control, and as switched on, will, as it says, detect your actions or locations you frequently visit and automatically switch to your desired headphone settings to such, like for example how much ambient sounds to let through. Now personally for me, I leave this off because I don't like leaving my GPS on, and the one based on action has turned off and off spontaneously even if I wasn't doing anything in my testing. However, I'm aware that some people love this feature and find it handy for that hands-free experience, so in this case it's kind of a personal choice. Under the sound section is where the personalization happens. First, the ambient sound controls the active noise cancelling and can be toggled on or off here. In the Dropbox is where you can adjust the ambient sound control adjuster from levels 1 to 20 with the help of the diagram to illustrate the change. 1 being complete noise cancelling and 20 being the opposite. This is what will allow you to listen to music yet still hear out for important sounds like announcements or someone trying to grab your attention. There is also an option to focus on your voice so you can hear what you're saying if necessary. Under that is the speak to chat functionality, which will automatically let in ambient noise and turn down the music when you're talking to someone, remaining hands-free and back on again when the conversation is over. And don't worry, it can be adjusted or disabled. Next is the personal atmospheric pressure noise cancelling optimizer, which, as stated before, will help to adjust and optimize the noise cancelling based on your wearing conditions. It is simple, easy, and you only have to do this once and only again if you're in a completely different environment, so I don't see why anyone wouldn't do this. Next is the equalizer to set up your custom equalizer or choose from any of the presets. I will note that you only get to have 2 custom equalizer profiles. If you want to ask what is the best equalizer levels, I can't answer that because I mostly leave it as normal. I'd ask around on Reddit or look up on YouTube for what people are saying, and I'd recommend a person called Aaron is Loud and Wireless, for he has a video specifically about this topic. Now under that is a 360 reality audio setup, and since I don't have any interest in paying for a subscription, I will not say any more on this. But just so you know, this is where you would set it up. Now below that is a really big setting called Digital Sound Enhancement Engine, or DSEE Extreme. Now, unlike the XM3s, the XM4s don't support aptX or aptX HD codec, a well-known audio codec for streaming lossy, high-quality stereo audio over Bluetooth. However, what this new enhancement engine does is upscale your lower resolution and compressed music files in real time with a newer and more powerful AI audio upscaler. Just be warned that it will consume slightly more battery power with it on. Lastly, in the system section is mostly where you can toggle on and off certain accessibility features, like dual pairing with 2 Bluetooth devices for convenient switchover at the touch of a button. However, if done, LDAC codec cannot be enabled. Change the functionality of the custom button, enable or disable the touch sensor control panel, choose to automatically switch off if taken off for a set period of time, turn on or off adaptive play, which will auto pause when taking the headphones off via the proximity sensor on the left ear cup and 2 acceleration sensors, enable notifications and voice guides, and finally where to automatically download software updates. To cap off the software part, within the top right corner is where you can find the short tutorial to remind the users how these function, the current Bluetooth firmware version, information regarding firmware updates that Sony will inevitably send out on occasion, and an option to back up and restore settings if you happen to lose them. So yeah, that about covers everything, and I hope that if you've made it this far, you understand the terms and specifications used to illustrate these XM4s. Personally, these are a massive upgrade for what I was using before, being these cheap little wired Samsung and $5 off-brand earphones for most of my life. These do bring sound quality for Bluetooth headphones to a new standard, and immediately for the first time, it actually sounded weird for me to listen to these, because I wasn't used to this outstanding sound quality, as funny as that sounds. I thank you all for listening, and now I'll leave you with my buddy Jordan, who has experience with Sony headphones himself, but has never seen or experienced these, so as an average consumer, here's an outsider's opinion on these.
Oh,
This is what I got to show you.
yes, the WH-1000. Oh,
The latest ones
yeah,
as well.
they're the latest. They're actually better than my headphones that I have currently. Well, at least I've heard. I haven't actually used them yet. But yeah.
Okay, so now, what are your opinions on them?
Good.
Good?
With these, I love them. I could probably go another year and a half with them, but if I were to upgrade now, this would be my honest candidate for it.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, what is the sales price for it at the moment?
$400.
Sounds about right. I mean, when I bought these, I bought them on a 30% sale for $274. Originally, they were like $320.
Okay.
Which is good. It was a good price at the time. 30% off was phenomenal. But yeah. So I'm just gonna open these and try them out. I do like. So the good thing about these, when I bought my headphones, they didn't actually come with a case.
Really?
Mine didn't come with a case. So the fact that these come with a case, I already like that, because if you're traveling overseas or something, and you want to pack them away in your bag, you can, and you'll know that they'll be safe, because this actually, on its own, feels like a firm case. Anyway, just want to open it up. Oh,
you gotta be
open
careful.
it up upside down. God, it's fucking sexy.
You like it?
It's a nice looking headset, and just looking at it already, it's neatly organized.
Have a hold of it. Go on.
Yeah. I do like that in the bottom. I'd probably throw that out, but...
Oh, that's just for reference, though.
Yeah.
But the other problem is, look at the Type-C cable. Look how small it is.
Yeah, no, that's the same with mine. Like, I still have the original cable for my headset.
You do?
Yeah.
People complained about it, where it's like, oh, it's too small, so you have to have it practically next to your computer if you want to charge it.
Well, that's the thing. I actually plug it in, like, I have it plugged into
See,
the
you
adapter.
you have an alternative way of charging it. Where some people don't.
Honestly, I just, like, with these, it's 4-hour charge time to full power. Do you know what the charge time is on this at all?
Charge time, I think with a 10-minute charge, you get 5 hours.
That's really good. Like, that's heaps more than this.
Oh, what's that one?
Already, because, like, with a 10 minutes charge, you could be lucky to get maybe 3 hours?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Also, just the feel of these, I like the feel.
How do they feel?
Like, compared to mine are more like a matte, like, plastic finish, but these, like, feel like they're made of metal, and they actually feel solid.
Is it metal?
I'm not
It's
sure.
smooth as hell, though.
It's very smooth. It's like it's a matte coat that it has on it, like the color. But it's very smooth and very firm, whereas mine, because they're made of plastic, or like the headset's made of plastic,
Especially that.
it's bendable and all of that.
The grills.
But that feels really nice. Already, I can tell the sound quality is so much better, and also...
Okay, but the thing is, how? How is it better? Can you describe it?
It's just a lot more clearer.
Okay, in terms of treble?
Pardon?
Saying very nice treble?
Well, that was just with the voice. Again, I'd have to listen to it a lot more. Yeah.
Anything noticeable?
I can't hear a thing right now, it's... I can barely hear myself. And... it's really weird that I can't hear myself, because with those I can. That's really weird. But yeah, no, the microphone quality isn't the best. The sound quality is phenomenal.
What about the bass?
Bass is banging. Alright, so the good thing when looking for bass in headphones,
if it's too heavy, it gets muffled.
Yeah, if it's too heavy, it gets muffled. But also, one thing that people don't think about when it comes to bass is if you have too much bass, it doesn't matter, excluding the muffler. Say you had so much bass, but because of the quality of your speakers, there was no muffler or anything like that, right? But the amount of bass will shake, like the more bass you have, the more your headphones will shake. These don't shake as much, which is good. It's just the sound. You can feel it reverberate into your ears, but without this shaking, which is good, because when you're looking for a good pair of headphones, you don't want them to be shaking around on your head. Which is obvious. Like, I like my music louder than most. I will probably be deaf by 60. So, like, the sound quality, 10 out of 10 at this point. Like, probably one of the best that I've heard so far.
Okay.
Microphone quality, not so much. If I was to give this headset a rating, is there anything else that I haven't thought about?
I don't think so. No.
No. All right. Well, if I was to give this headset, if I was to give this headset a rating, out of 10, I'd probably give it a 9.
A 9?
Probably a 9. Like, there are some cons, like it not being water resistant, the microphone placement, I think, takes away.
But isn't that kind of a bias thing coming from
Yeah, it is definitely biased, but again, it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
The price is a bit too steep for what, like, yes, the sound quality is probably like 3 times better than what I have here.
If you can put it in numbers.
If I can put it in numbers, yeah. But I give it a 9 because the sound quality alone just gives it that much. Like, I could see myself using these, no problem. Like, these are a definite replacement that I could consider to those. Whether I'd be able to, like, whether I would spend the money on them that much, or that much more money on them, I'm not sure. But yeah, I give it about a 9. Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Dude, I'm totally the same.